John Hollinger from The Athletic, coming to you from this luxuriant hotel room in Chicago at the NBA Draft Combine. But I want to talk today about the Philadelphia 76ers and where they can go from here after the pass. We've gone from the process to the pass after Ben Simmons turned down a dunk in Game 7 of the second round series against Atlanta. And that really felt like a turning point of where they can't continue with him any longer, that this has run its course. We already knew Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid was a not perfect pairing because Simmons in the half court gets in Embiid's way. They both need to be near the basket. And I think it really came to its culmination in the Atlanta series where Simmons wouldn't even look at the basket because he was so afraid of being fouled. It just added a whole nother layer to it. So at this point, the only solution I think for Philly is to move on from Ben Simmons and try to get the best deal they can get this offseason. What is that deal though? Where does Ben Simmons go? What makes sense? In the Sixers case, I think you're looking for perimeter talent that complements Embiid, somebody who can shoot, space the floor, and be a perimeter playmaker. How about Bradley Beal? That doesn't really work with the Sixers timeline. He's not a free agent until next year. He hasn't asked for a trade. So you really need to do something this offseason if you're Philadelphia. I don't think Bradley Beal is going to be available on the timeline that the Sixers are looking at. So take that one off the table. What about CJ McCollum? Works under the cap. McCollum is signed for 3 more years at $100 million, which is more than you really want to pay a player of that level. But the contracts match between Simmons and McCollum. Maybe the Blazers could put a little something extra into the deal to make the Sixers feel a little better about it. But at the end of the day, it's an unsatisfying trade. McCollum is a not quite all-star, making an all-star salary, and he's turning 30. I just don't know if you feel great about that deal if you're Philadelphia. So all those things we talked about are options, but I think the best one for Philadelphia that is realistic is a trade with Chicago for Zach LaVine and Al-Farouq Aminu. Why would Chicago do this? Well, they're in a situation where Zach has 1 year left on his deal. He's underpaid right now at $19 million a pop. And to do an extension with him right now isn't really workable unless they basically use all of their cap space on something called a renegotiation and extend. Even if they were to do that, that really ties their hands for this season in terms of all their financial options. And then they're committed to LaVine going out, but they don't really have anything to put around him. So that makes me wonder are you better off trading for Simmons, who's already signed for the next few years because he just finished the first year of a max extension. Maybe Simmons is making a little more than you would prefer too, but he's a year younger than Zach and he's signed already. So now you don't have to go through these contortions to make the guy happy and hope he re-signs or basically nuke your cap space this year in order to get him to extend. So for that reason, that's why I think the Bulls could do something like that. Al-Farouq Aminu would have to be in the deal too. He makes $10 million. He probably would not help that much in Philadelphia, but it's needed for the salaries to match and meet cap rules. So he'd be in that too. And then from Philadelphia's perspective, what you get when you bring in Zach, who made the All-Star team this year for the first time, you get a perimeter player, a great shooter, a guy who can create his own offense. Maybe not the best passer in the world, but he's gotten better in that area. And again, he's improved every year he's been in the league, which is more than Ben Simmons can say. So I think that is a really good deal for both sides, really. But I think from Philadelphia's perspective, that certainly is the type of deal they should want to look at. Now, it's easy for us to propose deals from here, obviously. It takes 2 to tango in any NBA trade. I can tell you from my time in Memphis, for every 100 calls we made about trades, maybe 1 or 2 at best turned into an actual deal. It's always hard, and it's always harder when you're dealing with star level players like this. There's just not that many other guys you can plausibly trade them for. But at the end of the day, I do think something between Chicago and Philadelphia makes a lot of sense, at least from here.